Okay, item agenda number 5 is a resolution to authorize the mayor to sign the settlement agreement and release in the New York State Supreme Court action under index number 2016-7457 titled Michael Conn, Holly Conn et al. Versus Village of Webster. John, I'd ask you to address this before I ask the board to make that resolution.
I'll summarize the settlement that you all are familiar with. First, the village agrees that it will permanently refrain from doing any composting at the sewage treatment plant site. Secondly, the village has agreed that it will permanently refrain from accepting leachate at the wastewater treatment plant. And the village agrees that it will pay $25,000 within 30 days of the execution of this agreement, essentially today's date. And the village also agrees that it will stop receiving septage at the sewage treatment plant, subject to possible restarting. So what the village has agreed to do is to determine whether it's feasible to install a septic receiving station with an associated building and equipment at a site within the village, obviously not at the sewage treatment plant, so long as the cost of doing that is not greater than $100,000 more than the cost that it would be to build a similar septic receiving station building with related equipment at the sewage treatment plant site. So that process is ongoing as we speak to put together those estimates. So obviously, if a septic receiving station can be built somewhere other than the sewage treatment plant at a cost less than $100,000 more than it would cost to put it at the sewage treatment plant, it will be done there, and septic will permanently not be taken at the sewage treatment plant. If, however, the cost is $100,000 more, the village will not accept the septic at the sewage treatment plant unless and until the septic receiving station is built. And if it is able, and once it's built, the village is free to accept the septic and RV waste at that time. If the septic receiving station is ultimately built at the sewage treatment plant, the village agreed that it would pay an additional $65,000 to the plaintiffs within 30 days, I believe, of whenever that decision is made that it's going to be built at the sewage treatment plant. The additional $65,000 would be paid at that point. And that is essentially the settlement. So ideally, the sewage septic receiving station would be built outside the sewage treatment plant, and then the village is only obligated to pay $25,000.